I was down with one of the generals, and we were in Juarez doing marrying operation. I asked him what you just asked me, man. What's one of the main things that is really helping to go after the halcones here? That control, have operational control. He said it has been the intelligence sharing. And now let me validate that to the folks. In the old days, we hardly ever met with the Mexicans, as you know, the soldiers. We walked up to do introductions with Border Patrol between the wall, and they're saying, "Hey, it's good to see you again." They had just had a meeting the day before. So when I tell you these marrying operations are taking place daily, when I went to Puerto Paloma, that was their 145th marrying operation in 6 months. It is really helping to really crack and illuminate the infrastructure of these halcones who really had been owning our frontera and our border region for so long. Because it's not that along the marrying operations they're arresting people. What it does is it causes the chatter so that you can go after and go get them. And then through that intelligence sharing that they're doing, it's helping to shut them down, man. So I'm stunned at what I've seen in a short period, but I want to stress too, with that, we're in phase one here. Things could change tomorrow. But man, you got to give some credit where credit is due. And I'll tell you where that came with me. I had the unique opportunity to sit down with General Secretary Trevilla, Secretary Harfuch, who I was telling you earlier is really the key here between our relations operationally. That man, in the position that he is, basically for the folks watching, he is the equivalent of Secretary Nome and Tom Homan all in one, reporting directly to the president of Mexico. So his position operationally is extremely, extremely important to us. And then you have Secretary Figueroa, who I also met with, an incredible lady. Again, another great pick by President Sheinbaum. I'm visiting with her. She's not a former senator. She's not a former politician. Vince, she's a former analyst that analyzed data in Mexico on all of these groups. So she knows them very well. After that, she went and worked for a private company that then tried to understand how their law enforcement was so broken and what they could do to fix it. So she was handpicked by President Scheinbaum to come in and rebuild their law enforcement structure and some things that we don't even think about, man, that they're dealing with. I'll give you a great example. When I interviewed her publicly, and we got that out on Newsmax where I work, she told us straight out, we're creating new requirements in how you create a uniformity in just the hiring process at the federal level for federal agents. And they had just put together their first group that were going to graduate as new federal law enforcement officers that finally had new standardized requirements. They had never even come up with that previously. So when I tell you that they are dealing with something that we here domestically can't even wrap our mind around, that's kind of some of the things I'm talking about. But again, another great pick of somebody who truly cares about the issues, has the knowledge to do it, and not only that, is doing it now to fix these things. And man, I remember that night after visiting with all three of them, went back to the hotel in Mexico City, grabbed a beer, and I said, holy shit, things are truly changing. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. Please hear me there. But I am definitely saying we are seeing an administration with good people who really give a shit about these issues. And man, I'll take that all day long. I'll take that all day long, Vince.
Hey guys, Sean Ryan here. I'm super excited to announce a project that I've been working on. I partnered with IRONCLAD for their newest original series, Target Intelligence PSYOP. It's an 8-part audio experience where we find out who is really pulling the strings. Buy it today, it's psyopshow.com. Link is in the show notes. The stakes have never been higher.
Today's episode is brought to you by Delete Me. We have talked a lot about people getting caught in timeshare scams, falling for pig butchering schemes, or getting those mysterious text messages that you have no idea where they came from. I've spoken with guests who hunt hackers and work to protect people's personal information. But here's the thing. Your data, your personal data, your name, your address, your phone number, even your relatives' names can be bought and sold online by data brokers, putting you at risk for identity theft, scams, and harassment. Now, that is why we have partnered with Delete Me. Like the experts we've had on the show who actively stop hackers and scammers, Delete Me works behind the scenes to remove your personal information from hundreds of people search and data broker sites. They do it continuously, securely, and without outsourcing. Plus, real privacy advisors are available or custom requests so you're never on your own. Delete Me has been the leading service for removing personally identifiable information for over 15 years. They verify your data is actually on these sites before requesting removal, reducing unnecessary exposure. Wirecutter named them the #1 service of its kind, and judges, journalists, creators, and podcasters all trust Delete Me to protect their privacy. Nowadays, this isn't just a nice to have. I feel like it's an essential. And Delete Me makes it super easy. Just create your account, enter in your basic information on the dashboard, and they're going to do the rest. Within about a week, the first report arrives showing exactly what has been removed. Take control of your digital privacy today at joindeleteme.com/ironclad and use the coupon code IRONCLAD, all one word, all uppercase. You can also scan the QR code to get started. It's one of the few services actively keeping your personal information out of the wrong hands.
Yeah, so this morning while I was drinking my coffee, I was reading some of the stuff you sent me, and one of the interesting things you sent was pictures of, one of the looks like a Navy ship with on a pier with a bunch of bundles of cocaine. Um, you know, because the skepticism in me, I downloaded them and I checked on AI, like, are these AI generated? Because you never know these days.
Sure.
And no, both two different ones authenticated that there's very low, if any, probability of those being AI generated. So then I'm like, man, this is crazy. And it looked, I don't know how many kilos was in one of those pictures, but can you tell me more about those pictures and what they represent? Because the next question after that is going to be about this Venezuelan bombing that's going on right now in our government and how that affects Mexico.
Okay, so this is a really good question. It's a very important point because what you are being sold right now as the U.S. citizens from the national media is Venezuela, Venezuela, Venezuela.
Yeah.
What the data from Mexico illuminated to me, and as you saw, I see every day what they put out publicly.
Yes.
I get that every day, and then I get the photographs that validate the seizures. That's very important to me because I don't believe anything I'm told because we've all been lied to so much, right? By our own
Yeah, and
government,
just
by
so
other
the audience
governments.
is clear, I was sent files of different states and some of the apprehensions in those states with images proving that these apprehensions are happening. So outstanding. Even some of the fentanyl builds that they were burning them down and everything. So it's just absolutely awesome to see that. But go ahead, please.
It's amazing, man. I've actually been to some of these labs, and I will tell you, the lab that I was at was able to produce 200 kilos of meth a day. And when we came in a Black Hawk in Culiacan, man, I could smell it at 3,500 feet before you could ever see it. These
Wow.
labs